Superstars are 2-0 so far in their series over B-Step, looking for one more game to close it out.
And in fact, TRC is going to be taking us to Tomb of the Spider Queen.
That's actually going to be Superstars picking it.
It is going to be Superstars picking it. We're going to Tomb.
Yeah.
Outside of beware of the Toronto comp that you can expect, B-Step to moving into, I don't have any words for Superstars. Keep doing what they're doing. I don't see anything changing. The map is only going to benefit them, again, because it fits to a playstyle that they're very comfortable with, and it minimizes, B-Step strengths. It moves into Toronto, and it's one of the better maps. Any wave clear map, Toronto struggles with. So this should be one of those where they are able to capitalize on that.
Maybe my one thing would be don't put yourself in a position like you were on Tomb versus Naventic, because they were down almost 13-16. They had to have that miracle fight at 13 just before Naventic got 16. Granted, they did it. And that's the big praise we've been heaping upon them, that they were able to do it. But maybe just don't put yourself in the position where you're down that far in the early game, because it's not fun, right, to even be in that spot, because it's hard to know exactly when to fight to come back.
But, I mean, it's Superstars. They've got a new leaf, man. These guys, they know when to be able to make that comeback. They know where to be able to force those initiations, or at least they've shown signs for the first time in a very long while that they're comfortable to be able to make that comeback and that decisions. Again, in this series, we saw it yesterday as well, so we'll see if they're going to be able to get that lead. But I agree. It's probably better, like if you don't have to risk that from behind, it's typically better not to.
Yeah, I guess.
It's just, we've never really had that group that's like, oh, we'll just give them the early game and then we'll come back and win later. It's okay.
It kind of seemed like that was B-Step early on.
Yeah.
Who was doing that. They were like, okay, we'll just be slow with all of our rotations. We'll be down. We'll 5-man mosh. No big deal.
I think the only way I can really see justification for that strategy is if you're running, the old school Asmo. Like, that's the only way when you don't have the traditional 4% scaling and you just run with this, like, colossal Asmo.
It is Tomb of the Spider Queen.
There's no way. It's not going to be a thing. I mean, I like
the spirit is broken.
I like the strategy as much too, but okay, so even if you ran it, why would you, at least for B-Step, it would be the team that runs it? Because Superstars, if somehow the strategy came out, the number one counter to it is getting kills early on onto the Asmo with Tyrande, with Varian, things like that. So it would just be giving B-Step everything they could hope for and a weak early game on the side of Superstars, and B-Step dominate the early game. And it's just, it's one of those things, it's a risk you never need to take. It only accents B-Step, it only hinders Superstars. But, you got to get the style points, so I guess,
Of course. Speaking of style points, B-Step are switching something up. Something is amiss, because that is a first ban on Tassadar.
Oh.
Medivh still up. It's always been second ban Tass across all of yesterday, except the one game where Superstars banned Gul'dan instead, and Naventic picked up Tass, and Superstars won that game. By the way, that was the Tomb game where they got behind early. So what's up with B-Step here?
Are you just going to first pick Varian?
Is it their Chromie? Is it their
okay.
Sylvanas?
Okay, that was a very niche scenario. All right? We can't just throw, crazy, wacky strategies.
I think that we can.
All willy-nilly.
I say that we can.
That, just a rebel. Absolute rebel you are. B-Step here. Going to be looking for the first pick. What is it? You are very correct. There is a change here for B-Step into the draft. The question is, what in fact is it going to be with Malfurion removed? It's not going to be Ragnaros, I don't think. I think it's going to be a Varian this early up. Either that or it's a first pick like Medivh or something. Probably not. I'm sticking with the Varian argument.
Yeah, I mean, they last first pick on Tomb. They actually, when B-Step have been on Tomb, 2 out of the 3 games they've been second pick. They chose it. It was Malfurion Artanis, Rhaegar Diablo, and then when they did first pick, it was Tassadar. Obviously, that's not the way that they want to go.
They're going way too deep into this time pool to be confident in this pick.
Maybe they did not expect the mouth ban?
Maybe. Either way, here it is. Ragnaros. And in fact, is going to be the Ragnaros change. All right, so we see them have a confident bottom, a bottom laner for B-Step, something that B-Step has absolutely neglected in their past drafts. What's a solo laner? They just pick teamfight, skirmish, brawl-oriented drafts. So that's already a shift, and it's going to complement the map really well. Rhaegar is going to be locked in for Superstars into the Gul'dan. Not willing to risk, the Ariel pickup.
Well, that still does give a lot of wave clear for the rotations for Superstars.
Yeah, it definitely does. It's going to be able to help them into their format very well. But I just really like that Rhaegar prioritization again because it's not risking, you know, the Ariel into B-Step, going Chroming, going Sylvanas with Mind Control.
Exactly.
It's a very safe play with that ban on the side of the Malfurion. So good moves here in the draft so far for Superstars. B-Step, though. On the responsive, there's no way they let the Varian through. I can't. Like, I'm not even saying that I think it's necessarily the most optimal, right? It's just when it comes to B-Step, when do they look the best? You don't risk that. You just stick to it, right? It works well with Ragnaros. It's like one of the best setups for Ragnaros as well.
But they haven't played Varian on Tomb yet, so maybe if they want something else, like Diablo.
Okay, well, B-Step is making, you know, changes here into the draft, but just the success that they had over, I believe it was Team Freedom, right? Oh, that upset, you know, depending on how you want to look at it. I consider it the upset. Was solely based on their Varian, on their Tyrande, and those pick comps. And now they keep, you know, they're trying to play against a new and improved Superstars with more meta approach to the game.
But
and it's tough.
We hypothesized that the reason that those pick comps worked was because Team Freedom is a newer team who may not have ever played
and
really
Superstars
versus that type of style.
Yeah.
And yeah, Superstars has played versus that. They've got people who have been in the scene for forever.
Yeah, every single one of them experienced the Tyrande meta. And that's about all you needed.
And feared.
Yeah, it's a struggle. So yeah, it's just, maybe that is it. They don't think that it would work against a experienced team like Superstars. Where's it going to go into the bans, though? Warrior still yet to be able to be picked up. I don't know if the Johanna ban would be worth it. Typically, I would say yes, but with Gul'dan and Rhaegar, it's already so good in the wave clear. Removing Johanna is not going to be able to make up for that so well. I think the best focus would be considering the solo laner on the side of Superstars.
Agreed.
Who do you not want to match into the Ragnaros? I would say probably not Dahaka on this map specifically. We don't see so much Dahaka. Artanis is going to be unlikely. Thrall would probably be the most realistic. And I guess, you know, maybe Fear of the Zarya into the 4-man as B-Step. That's where they're going to hover. I think one thing to note, though, when it comes to drafts, especially in the North American scene, a lot of what we often see with trends is failure to commit to when your opponents are going to win a 4-man, rather than trying to just let it go and concentrate somewhere else to be able to win elsewhere on the map, we see them keep looking towards it. Like the Zarya ban is, again, looking at the 4-man, but is that really going to stop the wave clear for Gul'dan? Like, at the wave clear overall, the survivability is going to be crippled a little bit, but it isn't going to benefit B-Step. It's just going to slow the insane 4-man to make it an above average, which is still unrecoverable with the Tychus Diablo.
But if B-Step are still looking for getting kills off of that 4-man, then banning Zarya along with Tychus does slow that down.
Why wouldn't you just ban the Johanna, though? Johanna, again, meets the wave clear, which counters your kill potential, and is the best warrior to be able to walk up there and face check things.
Because they feel like they may be able to take her out.
Maybe. I'm just trying to throw dynamics and overarching themes that we see in the North American scene to be looking at when it comes to drafting overall. There is a consistent neglect to that. It's like, oh, their 4-man's really good. How do we slow that down even more, rather than going, all right, the 4-man's lost, boys. That's okay, though. We're going to make sure we win the 1. It just doesn't seem to happen.
But Tomb, the lanes are so close together. That's less of a thing as like Braxis, right?
It's not as severe, but it doesn't make it as still something to be considering, right? Varian and Thrall were now the choices. The Varian pickup there, interesting. Now 4 Superstars sticking to the Varian pickup here. Gul'dan's not necessarily the best follow-up. Thrall, Gul'dan on the same team. If you've never experienced Horrify into Earthquake, it's pretty much being terrified in the middle of an earthquake. That's a pretty good description of it, actually. You run all over the place, and you all run really, really slow, and it's hard to be able to group up. So that duo is awesome. There will be a little bit less kill potential, but Gul'dan provides enough into the wave clear to be fine. Thrall into the match of a Ragnaros. In the end, Rag should be able to pull slightly ahead.
Orc boys. Rhaegar, Gul'dan, Thrall. Hello.
And then they had to get that, you know, poor alliance there.
Yeah. Varian is just a little outnumbered.
He's just a traitor in the squad. Now, B-Step, though, into their draft. What is going to be the last picks? I'm expecting it to be a Karzim into the Varian. And B-Step is just heavily, relied on that. And then last pick, Vala?
Morales. Oh, that's the first kill thus of Heroes Global Global Championship.
All right, so let's talk about it. What does Kael'thas do better than, you know, some of the heroes? So Kael'thas is very good when it comes to wave clear and joining the 4-man, but the thing he does is he is just like a weird alternative version of Jaina is really what he is. So as long as you have the setup CC, then getting the gravity laps directly after provides kill potential. You've got good wave clear. You are, again, committing a little bit more to wave clear, but also considering your kill potential at all points whenever you go into a Kael'thas. So, again, alluding towards that playstyle for B-Step. The Morales, though, that I don't totally know where they're going with that, but I do like the Kael'thas. Not even saying that I dislike the Morales. It's just not sticking to what B-Step is typically most comfortable with into the variant, having that cleansing touch.
Yeah, I think they just wanted to cleanse.
You think?
Yep.
The last game, I don't know. I thought that might be the argument because of how many times we saw the variant taunt, and then, you know, the cleanse came out to be able to try and buy the peel. That could very much be the case. They feel like they need that cleanse early on. I mean, I like it.
Plus early game heals.
Yeah, the laning phase is going to be, you know, watch Gul'dan fling things all around and clear the minion wave, but over time, the sustain aspect should be in favor of B-Step. Whether or not that's enough, I think comes down to, does the Diablo Kael'thas kill combo, is that going to be successful? I think that's more important than anything. And watching Kael'thas' mana, because he's the only wave clear on the entire squad. Tychus is going to be the next best. Diablo does very badly with that. He used to be good until his rework, and then became one of the weakest wave clearing warriors. So they need to be successful with this Diablo Kael'thas.
Yeah, it seems like B-Step is putting all of their eggs into the early game basket, whereas Superstars, not as much. They're picking heroes like Medivh. They also have Gul'dan, who are going to be focused on stacking, but should they be able to do that? Maybe they do lose out a little bit in the early game, but again, Superstars maybe is going to have to take a hit in the early game, but should they be able to come back again in the late game, are going to be very powerful.
Yeah, I think Superstars has a really awesome draft, at least for as the game moves on.
Right.
I do think that, yes, their early game, though, has to be played really well. I think Gul'dan is this weird mix of he has to be overly aggressive in his positioning in terms of his wave clear and even just overall damage output that he's putting out onto the opponents, but obviously just out of range of getting, you know, overpowered into a gravity lapse into why is this fire hurt so bad? Like, you know what I mean? It's just they have to make sure it's a weird line, and if they don't get close enough to it, they're just going to lose the 4-man purely off of fear of the kill potential. It's a bit of a doozy here in the draft. I love it though. Very, very heads up adjustments from both sides.
Well, let's see how Kael'thas does. The first Kael'thas of the Heroes Global Championship. How he'll do for B-Step on Tomb of the Spider Queen.
B-Step here with their changes into the draft, still looking towards the, you know, very early on. Do we see Convection out of Kael'thas?
Convection is so scary, risky.
I like Mana Addict personally. I think it's a safer choice a lot of the times. But Convection, obviously, when it pays off, it hurts. It is going to put a burn onto the opponents there.
I get what you did there with the burning. There's also a lot of melee heroes. There's Thrall, there's Varian, even Rhaegar could fall victim to Seared Flesh if all of the members show up into one Flame Strike. And he may even still build into that, but for now, Kael'thas taking your advice is going to go for Mana Addict, especially here on Tomb where he can get those globes pretty quickly.
It's so easy to be able to bait with Kael'thas too as the game moves on with Mana Addict. Like, you'll see that moment where like Rhaegar or somebody will be like, oh, I can kill Kael'thas, and then just moves in and you go Mana Addict, proceed to get your free W's off onto the target with your passive, and things look good. When it comes to heroics, though, I'm expecting a full Phoenix, especially into Medivh. Usually Pyroblast, the odds of you hitting a Pyroblast and making contact in that 5-second window of him not having it, and especially with reabsorption, you know, in case you wanted a free heal, here you go.
Hey, I didn't even think about this synergy, but Medivh can offer vision to make better choices for when to throw out Corruption for Gul'dan, trying to stack faster for Echoed Corruption.
Yeah.
Although Gul'dan's staying up in the top lane, Superstars deciding to leave their laning down to a 1-1-2 with Medivh running around as he can. There's a portal. He's going to run through that, actually, to get to safety.
We see this really common trend in North America into Ragnaroses when they take the second queue to put heavy focus into their lane to try and cripple the rate at which they capture it. It's just, oh, Stray goes in. There's going to be the fight, the throw down of the totem here. It looks like that is going to be Ragnaros maybe losing a little bit of his own flame. Goku, though, he's going to lie victim to the Gravity Labs combo here, so a 1-for-1 trade. But again, it's just a lot of resources committing to stopping Ragnaros stacking his Q. And I guess it just feels like a mismanagement of resources for the most part. Like, out of all, like, that Ragnaros Q is 100% going to get stacked eventually. It's just too easy. You leave him alone for half a second in side lane, it's done. It's going to happen. Like, I just feel like I would like to see a little bit more resources committed to, I don't know, stopping Echo Corruption, the thing that kills your entire team in half a second, rather than just a Ragnaros laning. But for the most part, B-Step here, falling a little bit behind there with a pick onto Tychus. Overall, you know what I mean? It's just, it's not like a once in a while thing where it's like, oh no, I get it, that's kind of cool. You're slowing it down. It is like, there's a Ragnaros, we're 2v1ing him all day. And it just seems like that's a bad trade when I have a better four-man, like we see with Superstars, with their commitment to having the Gul'dan. Suddenly Gul'dan's a solo laner who's kind of holding his own, stopping the bleeding, when, again, normally Gul'dan is like the I'm up in your face, flinging the Fel, flinging the Corruption. By that point, you're dead.
Yeah, you want to help Gul'dan, allow him to be in the four-man, which is why you see him so much on Brax's holdout. So he can hit as many people as he can with Corruption to get those Echo Corruption stacks finished as fast as you can. So far, he's about a fifth of the way done. So he's still got a long way to go. Nightmare not yet at his stacking talent, but doing his Medivh things of being annoying and stalling out turn-ins as he will do. And both teams just ever building up in their gyms as much as they can to get to the first turn-in of this game.
Yeah, and there's going to be Hosey, as you see him eating through his health pool. He did move into a different level 4. I guess not different. It's kind of common. Going into the Consumed Soul, being able to kill the minion, to be able to heal himself. Sitting at a 30-second cooldown means once every minion wave he can be able to do that, which will help with the mana, you know, soak up in the end. I like that whenever you don't have either an Ariel or a Morales, or a Malfurion. Any one of those three, then I suggest moving that direction. But on the others, I do like, you know, that improved
life tap.
Yeah.
Yeah, in this case too, especially he's sitting in the solo lane. That'll help him out, not only clear out those waves faster, keep them from pushing in as fast, but just to build his mana back up and allow him to self-life tap as much as he can. There's the first, another kill for B-Step, taking out Varian, and that gives them a little bit of time where they'll get some of their gems turned in. But it is seen by Nightmare.
Yeah, and there's going to be the channel there. We do see Diablo going with Speed Demon at 4. I freaking love that talent. It is, if Variant goes in on you, you're just like, all right, give me a second. All right, now I'm the fastest Diablo in the entire world. I'm going to wreak havoc onto your backline. Good night. I love the talent, the adjustment here into the game for the Variant there for King Caffeine.
Plus, we've seen from the shadows not always work out the best, and its range was actually buffed in this patch, I believe from 33 to 40%, so even further diving into the enemy team.
From one shadows into the shadow, the other shadows, yes. You know, it's almost like, oh wow, was that grenade? Was that APM zoning off of that? I think that was a grenade that got that knockback. Excuse me, the medic grenade, not the Tychus grenade, to be able to knock back away from that portal, allowing to be able to confirm the kill. Whoever it was, very impressive play here from B-Step so far with their, you know, unique kill Thoth showing. You said it's the first in all of HGC around the world.
All of HGC.
First time we got the kill Thoth there. We do see the level 7 talent moving into the Scorch Flesh? What is it?
Burned Flesh?
Burned Flesh?
I think it said Seared Flesh, but it's burned. There is a Seared Flesh. It is a show talent.
Do you want to talk about unique talent names that are almost close but not exactly the same? Because
there are a
Gilly's
lot.
got to do. She's got a list.
Earth Shield, Earthen Shield.
Force of Wills.
There's actually just 2 Force of Wills.
Yeah, just flat out.
One is an ability, one is a level 20 talent for Artanis.
Yeah, just in case you guys are wondering, these are the things that haunt Gilly at night.
These are the things that haunt you during the day when you hang out with me.
Yeah, that's true. Medivh Shield is going to be nice to be able to peel off of the living bomb there. 10 is going to be closer here for B-Step, obviously with the control that they managed to be able to pick up in this early game. Not even really needing that many kills. They seem even, 3-2 there. But just the lack, you know, the amount of resources committed on the side of Superstars in order to stop Ragnaros in the early half of the game has really set them behind. Turn-in attempt there going to be interrupted once more from McIntyre.
Superstars, when they played versus Naventic on this map last time, went in for a fight and tried for a turn-in before they got to 10 and lost people, and that gave Naventic 10 and the ability to turn in again. This time B-Step even got more done with their turn in. Niventic, I think, only took down maybe 1 tower in that game. So they weren't even as close to heroic abilities as B-Step were. So Superstars understand this pressure. They understand they're going to be hit by a double turn-in phase, almost certainly, as there's only 6 more gems needed for B-Step. The difference, though, is B-Step have done a lot more with their first turn-in. They've taken down towers in all the lanes. They've even taken down a 4 in mid. So this second turn-in is going to hurt. Superstars need to stop the bleeding somehow.
Yeah, it is a very good point that you bring up there, because if that first one was not able to be able to, you know, net that big of a gain for B-Step, suddenly this next one would be like, you know, it's down the front wall. That's fine. We've got Gul'dan. He'll be able to make up for that here. Channel is going to happen here on the bottom half. 10 has now been achieved for Superstars. We're still questioning what Thrall's heroic is going to be, and same with Rhaegar. Oh man, being the guy who's the biggest advocate probably in the world for the Sundering, I don't see this being a Sundering game. Maybe unless you flank solely onto Morales, but that seems like a risk I wouldn't feel comfortable enough trying to take, but we'll see where they go here. With the 10s. Now Web Weavers creeping in towards the blue side of the map. We'll see if Superstar is going to be able to open it up the same way B-Step did with their first turn.
It was nice for Superstars to sneak in the turn-in. Rest of heroic abilities, Bedevac dropship, not Stim Drone. I don't even know what they would want to do with that, but they have Medevac, even though it is a small battleground, still can be sort of an ice block for APM to get out of trouble. Still no decision, or at least hiding the decision of what to pick for Rhaegar and Thrall. The longer I look at this, the more it feels like a Bloodlust game, Dread.
If it is a Bloodlust game, then it's Ancestral Healing was going to be the choice. So Protective Shield comes out, with Sulfur Smash is going to be used as well with the Molten Core. Earthquake is going to be the choice there as well when it comes to Thrall's choice. Yeah, I was going to say, if it is a Bloodlust, it has to be an Earthquake then. It just makes the most sense to be able to maximize the value out of the Bloodlust. So Earthquake with Leyline Seal, Taunt, and then having the Horrify there for Gul'dan. Webweaver, though, when it comes to, you know, what was Superstars able to obtain, a little bit of experience here. They got a solid front wall on bottom, a little bit of damage up on the top half as well. So things are all right. 13 still more in favor of B-Step, but the game is pretty dead even.
Yeah, they didn't take down as much with those Web Weavers. They fully committed to the top lane, and once they went in there, iDream had been saving his Molten Core, so you use that. It's hard to siege versus a Ragnaros. You have to be able to take a fight outside of that Molten Core, be able to kill people maybe who dive too deep out of the range of it, and then once you get that, you can take down structures once Molten Core is done, but it is such a stop to a lot of the sieging for Superstars. So Superstars have to rely on all the big heroic abilities that they have to hope that they can win fights outside of it.
We'll see if they're going to be able to, because right now, this 13 talents here, B-Step is going to look to try and force. There's going to be the taunt. Portal is now laid by Nightmare. 10 seconds before the taunt's going to come off cooldown once more. 52 gems have been turned in for B-Step, so pretty much almost anybody possessing a gem has enough to be able to confirm this for them. And speaking of that, McIntyre up top, he's going to get these Web Weavers rolling with that 13. Superstars got to look for that 13, look for the clear, and then probably start a fight around after at least clearing one Web Weaver, if not 2, and then try and aggress onto B-Step.
Bruisers will help in the mid lane. Quest talent update as we get started with this next Web Weaver phase. Echoed Corruption is all but finished, but Master's Touch is halfway done. But Mana Addict, Sulfurous Hungers, Catching Fire, all of that is complete for B-Step.
There's going to be Apocalypse used. Beautiful pre-cleanse coming out there from Iacona is going to be able to buy the Peel Forest team. Leyline Seal not even used yet. Earthquake onto the backline. Saray moves up. Leyline Seal hitting 3 members. We'll see if they can net a kill out of this. APM is under pressure. Huge Ancestral ends up getting the land there. Medevac is going to be used here as it is in the opposite direction as he made one person going down for B-Step. APM now on retreat. APM and Iacona for that support 1v1. Saray, though, ends up falling. Everybody is all over the place. A 2-for-1 trade. Superstars pulling ahead, but the Web Weavers still sieging up.
Oh, Molten Core, run for your life! Goku, K1 Pro's coming after you! There's the rune. More meteor showers, maybe?
Portal?
He's been pushed into
He needs a portal. That's the only way.
Portal! No, stunned into a wall. That's 2-for-2 trade.
26 gems.
3.
That was 26 gems. Iacona there trying to panic and be able to pick them up. In fact, got him killed.
The stun on McIntyre just before he was able to get into the dropship
Yeah.
got Superstars the kill and a kill on Odin too, which was nice to take down some of the damage there. I had lots of ideas about how is an Odin going to fit into a medevac, but it doesn't matter. I don't even have to worry about it. It was good by Superstars. They didn't break my brain.
Is Odin the biggest model in the game? I think it probably is one of the biggest ones. That'd be interesting, you know, to get the biggest model we have and to see what is the biggest thing you fit in the medvac.
The vehicles of Dragon Knight and Garden Terror, because you can't get in there, so
it's gotta be.
Maybe. What about Rexar and Misha?
See, that one's always weird. Like, I remember, because then it comes down to like the Vikings and how all those work, depending on are they a hero, are they not a hero. I don't know. The whole thing gets a little bit, you know, more difficult. Probably more so than anybody is willing to be able to buy time and figure out here. Portal attempt is made by Saray, quickly denied by King Caffeine. Good grenade's going to be able to delay a little bit longer. 16 talent here now available for B-Step as they scare Superstars right away.
I've been enjoying the back and forth between Stray and King Caffeine too, who's going to get the stun to start off as well. That's been interesting to watch, continue to watch how that starts, as it is so important for them, both of them, to be able to start the fight for their team. Echoed Corruption, by the way, is done. Master's Touch maybe after this siege. Nightmare's getting a lot of Arcane Rift onto the members of B-Step. It's just about there.
Yeah, with the 16 talents here, Superstars has to be able to find the answer, and they don't have anybody soaking, you know, threatening maybe even a turn-in. They're just willing to address B-Step directly, and I can't help but fear that might not be able to pay off for them as B-Step. We see King Caffeine there. You know, he's looking for any opportunity to be able to get an initiation here onto the opponent's Kel'Thas, poking away as he does best, defending onto the Giants.
Yeah, you can see even healing beams have been used by the Giants just so they can continue to throw out their rocks and start to put damage on the keep. Still no Odin yet, so no full commit to this, but Superstars are a long way from 16 before B-Step would have to worry too much. Finally, with Giants cleared out, that's enough for B-Step. They're happy with the amount of sieging that they've done. They only need 5 more gems, and with this camp in the mid, the wave of minions, that will give them enough.
Yeah, that was a huge opportunity there. 16 will be available, though, for Superstars during the siege. So that is a small moment where they have the ability to be able to try and take the team fight. We talked about, you know, Superstars went behind, being able to finally figure it out and get the fights that they need. Nightmare under pressure. He's got the portal out straight as well. So this is, again, this is the moment where if we're going to see that experience from them, this is where it'll bust out there. Goku is going to be shielded. 16's here. Same with the Web Weavers. Gilly. Tough moment for Superstars, but do they have the strength to turn this game back? The
biggest deal for them right now is that Echoed Corruption and Master's Touch are done. This is time for Superstars to be able to get into a fight. Odin's been used, straight diving in, as has Goku. Apocalypse has been used, but so has the Horrify, and Morales gets taken out from it. Leyline Seal in the back. Nobody from Superstars, though, especially with the Web Weaver, finding themselves in a position to capitalize on that. They're already happy with taking out Lieutenant Morales, and they know it's risky now for B-Step, not having things like Molten Core for the defense. They don't have Apocalypse. They don't even have their medic to siege anymore. So Superstars can move on knowing that they've been able to defend versus all of these Web Weavers.
That initiation was just so pretty on the side of Superstars. Goku flanks from the backside, throws down the Earthquake directly onto Morales. Portal comes in, Variant goes in very deep, gets the taunt onto Morales, and suddenly she has no opportunity to be able to get the med back within 0.5 seconds there, getting the kill onto her. Superstars here, just, you know, the synergy, the teamwork, everything about them so far has been very impressive. Yes, they are going to be down a level at this point in time, looking to be able to get the turn in here. They haven't really had a moment to have a lead, at least in game number 3 here on Tomb of the Spider Queen, but they just look like leaps and bounds better than we've seen from them in weeks 1 through 3.
B-Step still have control of this game, though. They weren't able to take down a keep from all of their gems. That's a frustration point for them. They are a long way away from being able to net a turn in, but they still have the level lead. They can continue to soak up lanes, maybe try to make a boss play of 20 if that's the case. Try to deny as long as they can Superstars from getting another turn in. They're only their second one so that the lanes stay pushed, and then they have that buffer period of all of their forks. So even if Superstars do get a turn in, B-Step are looking to just defend as much as they can so that Superstars don't get too far up in experience.
Man, Superstars here, 67 gems in their hands and 52 have turned in. If they don't lose anybody, they have the opportunity to double stack this. And if they do, that will put them significantly in the lead as the Web Weaver skill with time puts them into a position where their web weavers will hit far harder than B-Steps ever had in the early half of this game. There's going to be channel with Sray. He gets
Meteor
it.
didn't hit. It went off just slightly to the side. Now, B-Step want to get a fight before all of the members of Superstars are alive with the Web Weavers too. So King Caffeine has dove in, but Goku hit Earthquake. There's going to be Apocalypse. And Sulfurous smash. Medivh is all but dead. That'll take the cake. He gets taken out. Superstars lose Goku too. McIntyre flanking in from his Odin. And even Sray will go down just as the Web Weavers spawn. So both times, these last two Web Weaver phases, the team's taking the fight that they need to make sure that they can clear them out without too much damage done.
And it looks like B-Step, for a moment, was like, they looked like they were questioning whether or not they could end the game. And now, in fact, they have decided to be able to rid of the mid-Web Weaver. Now they're going to set their eyes towards mid-Keep. I don't know if they have the opportunity to be able to end the game. It looks like they might. Leyline Seal is not going to be up for 20 seconds here.
Molten Core.
Molten Core is going to be up as well. Yeah, very good call there. Ancestral Healing is available, but I don't think it's going to matter. K1 Pro under a bit of pressure. Posey, though, if he ends up going down, that could be it. Ancestral not going to land. 8 seconds before Medivh is going to be spawning, though, with that Leyline Seal. Iacona ends up dropping. Medevac is going to be used, and it looks like B-Step, in fact, is going to be able to take a game here and put the series 1-2.
Oh, that Ancestral was just so close, but not quite hitting. I'm not sure what all Gul'dan would have been able to do there anyway, but B-Step coming back in this series. It looked scary when they lost their Morales, but they didn't lose anything else, and going for that fight right as soon as the turn-in happened, before the Web Weavers could come in and assist with Superstars, was huge for B-Step to be able to close out the game.
Yeah, and they didn't even really rely, again, so much on their kill potential into the early game with their draft. We were talking about Kel'Thas and what value it kind of provides, but again, so many resources were committed, concerned about the Ragnaros and, you know, being able to stop him with his stacking and the pressure he was providing, that the 4-man didn't matter at that point, the laning phase. And honestly, if enough teams deal with Ragnaros that way, I'm surprised he isn't just across the board. If any map you can draw a free resource from a 4-man, you might as well pick him up. So it just, I would like to see at least, you know, some adjustments or at least more prioritization onto the Ragnaros if that is the North American solution to him. But for now, B-Step was able to turn around. They did a lot of things really well. So excited to be able to see that, but just that early game, so confusing.
Yeah, it started off very good, too, for B-Step with the first turn-in phase. Like we talked about, they got so much more done with that, even a 4 off of the first turn, and set them up for a very good mid-game. And just with that one push really was the only spot that seemed scary for them. But we are going to go to a commercial break, so when we return, we will have game number 4 between B-Step and Superstars. See you then.